Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live, Hardcore, not Hardcore, Softcore. Softcore Course in Miracles. We're going to have some Softcore Course in Miracles today. And I want to welcome you to Facebook Live. And we're going to start out with, we're going to continue with the new beginning, how to make a new beginning, how to make a new start. I'm going to start back over again. Last week, we had a sound issue, and nobody heard a word I said, but they said I look real good. So we're going, and this is the section I really want to put a lot of attention on because it's a practical application of A Course in Miracles. And my focus right now is more on the practical application of the Course in Miracles than the analyzation of the Course in Miracles. It's like, what are we being told that we should do when we're upset, when we're not feeling good, or we're unhappy? What is it I need to do? We can deal with all the theory later, where it came from, what it's saying. But what are we being told to do if we want to make a new beginning? What are we being told to do if we want to have the kind of day that we want to have? This is a very powerful section. It's the beginning of chapter 30, the new beginning. I got a couple of spare books over here to the side if anybody wants to follow along. And we're going to be on page 625. 625 in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles, 625, and I'll say it again because I know people are coming in. It's so good to see you. If you can hear me really good this week, would you send up some heart emojis, please? Because I see a few heart emojis that will let me know that I am being heard at this particular time, and I'll also put my, oh, there we go. We got some coming up. That's great. That's great. You know that was something at some collective level we didn't want to hear. If we blocked that one out, that's all the more reason why I want to go back. Anything that my ego would absolutely block out to the point that I couldn't even be heard, then I know that's something I need to pay some extra attention to. And so that's why I'm going to go back over it again. Because guess what? I bet you don't remember too much of what I said last week. You're a typical truth student. We remember it brilliantly while we're actually listening to it in real time. And then we have the tendency of, as soon as we close the book or walk away from it, we go into what I call Course in Miracles amnesia. And I don't remember. When I say remember what I said, I meant the details of what the Course in Miracles was saying, not the details of your interpretation of what was said. I'm talking about, did you remember that it says that the new beginning is the focus of our curriculum right now? Because I'm ready for a new beginning, and I think the whole world is ready for a new beginning. I think everything needs a new beginning. I wish that life was like my computer, where I could either reboot it, punch reset, or just cut the whole damn thing off and turn it back on again, and then it makes everything work. Because anybody that's familiar with computers know that they probably had more computer issues healed just by turning it off and turning it back on than almost anything that you could do. So sometimes you need to turn yourself off and turn yourself back on so that you can reboot. So we're going to start out with one of my favorite songs from Brother John Christmas, I'm Not a Victim of the World I See. And we also have some guest music that's going to be happening at the end of the class today. Yes. So we got a brother Brother Michael is going to share some great music with us. And so I'm going to get into this. So if you're out there and you're able to do it and you can get a book, get your Course in Miracles book, then get your Course in Miracles book, because another thing that I really want to focus on a lot now is after 40 years of studying the Course in Miracles and teaching the Course in Miracles. As a matter of fact, yesterday, which was September the 18th, was the anniversary of when I quit my job in the world and started doing the Course in Miracles full time. And that was 34 years ago. So I have been teaching the Course in Miracles for 34 years and attracting tons of people as I do it. But let me tell you, it was the best decision I ever made in my life, because I fulfilled my function. I'm fulfilling my function. I'm doing what I came here to do, and I'm teaching what I need to learn. So everything you hear me cover from A Course in Miracles, I'm also learning how to apply it to myself, and I'm learning how to apply it to the other people around me. So I am also a student. So here we go. that? You gonna do that? You gonna do that? You gonna do that on me?
I'm a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim
Of the world I see.
I'm not a victim
Of the world I see. You're not a victim of the world you see.
I'm not a victim of my mom.
You're not a victim of your mom. You're not a victim of your pa. You're not a victim of events, circumstances at all. You're not a victim of the world you see. Because what's happening now is what I done to me. So what's happening right now is what you've done to you. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't. I'm not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. That includes the good things. I am not a victim of the world I see. You are not a victim of the world you see. I'm not a victim. No. I want to say these lyrics. These lyrics are so cool. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to believe the ideas that I share from A Course in Miracles. You don't have to believe the ideas, accept the ideas, or welcome the ideas, or believe the ideas. Some of the ideas, you might find some of the ideas hard to believe. Some of the things I say may be hard to believe. Some of it might be really startling. But if you will use the ideas, you'll see the ideas that they're true. Guess what? I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. Not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Sometimes when I sing, I know I need to sing in the key of be quiet, but I do it anyway. I'm not a victim. Hey, I'm gonna try to have some fun and let that joy come out of me. Because there's a lot of things in the world that we can use to distract us from our joy very easily. You're not being asked to judge the ideas at all. You're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all. I'm not the Course in Miracles analyzation teacher. I'm a remembering coach. I want to help people remember what we're being told by the Course in Miracles to do, and let's apply what it's telling us to do. Our understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Down, oh yeah. Okay. How can I tell when I think I'm a victim? How can I tell when I think I'm a victim? How can I tell when I'm thinking I'm a victim? How can I tell when I'm thinking I'm a victim? I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm afraid, I'm angry about something. So how can I tell when I'm thinking I'm a victim? I'm mad, I'm upset about something. I'm acting like the way that I'm feeling right now has to do with somebody else or something else changing outside of myself, and then I'm going to feel great. Every time you're upset, you can just go, I'm telling myself right now, if something were different, I'd be happy. I'm giving all my power away. I'm saying that this person, this individual, or this circumstance has the ability to tell me and dictate how I feel right now. So how can you tell when you're playing the victim card, you are angry and upset and you feel like you're a total victim of circumstances? Even if you're dealing with a physical situation, circumstance, or a physical condition, you still are the ones that's determining how you look at it. You're still the one that's determining how you feel about it. So everything in the world is neutral until you give it a meaning that doesn't have any meaning. And you can give things either two meanings, a meaning that makes you feel good or a meaning that makes you feel bad. Okay, you can go now. That's it. That's it. So we'll go another 55 minutes just for the fun of it, okay? All right, because that's really it. That's really it. That everything is like this last week was a big call for God for me. It was a lot of things that I created and manifested in my experience that what I call the other part of me manifested. And I call this the other part of me because I don't remember making the decision to experience what I was experiencing. Can you feel me? It's like you have stuff happening to you and you go, okay, I hear these books say I'm the creator of my experience and I'm the one that determines what happened to me, and I don't remember asking for the flat tire. Right? So if that's true, then it means that there's some part of us that's making decisions that we don't realize, or like the Course says, we're making decisions and then deciding to forget that we made the decision. He said that's what we're doing. So if I'm not a victim and everything that happens to me is something that I'm asking for, then I need to get in touch with whatever part of me that's powerful enough to be producing the thing I'm going through. And that's what the Course in Miracles is about, folks. It's about getting you in touch with the part of you that's the creator of your experience, and I promise you, it's not the one that you think it is. It's not the you with the Social Security number. The you with the Social Security number is not the you that's in charge of anything. The you with the Social Security number is not, you are not the creator of your experience. The you with the Social Security number that thinks you're a man or thinks you're a woman or male or female or all the variety of gender kinds of ways that we can be nowadays. Whoever that is, whatever that is, whoever they are, it is, we are, whatever way you want them now, you aren't the one that's creating anything. This level that we're sitting on right now, according to the Course in Miracles, we are the parts that's experiencing and reacting to what the other part of us is creating that we don't really know how that's working. You follow what I'm saying? It's like what we are doing is experiencing whatever the Creator is creating. And so what's the purpose of A Course in Miracles or any wisdom text or any truth text? Well, the purpose of it is to give you a way to look at what's already happened. Because you are always seeing what's already happened. By the time you see me sitting here, I'm already sitting here. There's nothing you're looking at with your physical eyes that you're not looking at the past. When you're looking at anything with your physical eyes, you're looking at something that's already manifested. I see the plant that's already in the room. I see the watch that's already. So we are just reacting to what has already manifested. So you can react to what is already manifested in a peaceful way or a way full of conflict, right? So that's right. So what do I need help in? I need help in telling me and teaching me the right meanings and reactions that I need to have with the stuff that's manifesting. And that's where the Course in Miracles or any good truth book does. What it does is it teaches you how to interpret what's going on so that you can keep your peace. Now, if you pretend you're more positive or more conscious than you really are, which sometimes people think pretending that they're really conscious and spiritual is the same as actually being that way, or some people think because they have read a book and they can repeat what the book says, then that means they actually have achieved that level of consciousness. Those are ones who end up getting unexpected things happen to them that freaks them out, that they don't understand why that happened. It's because they were deceiving themselves and they thought they were more conscious than they actually were. So the Course in Miracles is saying, what I'm going to do right now, on page 625, he says, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to help you all make a new beginning. Now, those of you with the book, look at the book that you're having a conversation with Jesus of the Course, rather than thinking that you're analyzing something that you need to study. So it's like, okay, I'm having a conversation with you. Okay, do you want to make a new beginning? Yeah, okay, we're going to put the focus on you making a new beginning. So the first thing you need to do is what? Well, you need to recognize that the goal is clear. The goal is clear. What is the goal? The goal is what? Love. The goal is peace. The goal is oneness. The goal is forgiveness. The goal is correcting our perception. The goal is happiness. The goal is freedom, and all that's love. The Course in Miracles says we just have how many emotions? 2. And my father had 1. I think he's bragging when he says we got 2. But, so what are the 2 emotions? Love or fear? Those are only two emotions. That's the only thing anybody's feeling all the time. Sometimes when I'm angry, I've forgotten I'm afraid. I think anger isn't fear. Because as a male ego, I was programmed and conditioned as a male ego to always act like I'm never afraid of anything. That's the cardinal sin as a man, especially when I grew up, was for you to show any feelings and emotions whatsoever. You had to not show any and among the so-called younger generation is looped all the way back to that again. Where the young guys nowadays, they'll do anything to show that they're tough and that nothing can affect. That's why you see so many people frowning. Because that's that male ego trying to, don't mess with me. Okay. So, Course in Miracles says, that's not toughness, that's fear. You're looking at fear. That's an afraid person. An angry person is an afraid person. A person that's attacking, mugging, killing, judging, condemning, those are frightened people. Frightened people. Frightened people. Then he says frightened people can be vicious. The Course says frightened people can be vicious. So people are getting more and more frightened. And what are we seeing on airplanes and everything else that we're hearing about? People acting more and more vicious. What's happening in our country right now? People are acting more and more vicious. So America is afraid. America is afraid. America is afraid. The world is afraid. The world is afraid. That's why you're seeing more viciousness. So we want the goal of peace. Do we not? Okay, we want the goal of peace. So how do you do that? He says, well, I'm going to tell you. You need what kind of methods for achieving your goal? He said, well, the kind of method you need for achieving your goal is a specific method. So do you know there are specific ways you can have forgiveness and peace and happiness? So I need that. Then the Course in Miracles says, the speed by which it can be reached, how fast you reach your goal depends on one thing. I don't care what your goal is. It doesn't matter what your goal is. Do you know that the thing that's so cool about the truth is that the truth says I apply to everything equally. So I don't try to decide in my life where I'm going to apply the principles of the Course and when I'm not. I'll apply the principles of the Course as much to a parking space as to my spiritual awakening, because the truth applies to everything equally. For instance, you just come up with a new goal for yourself, no matter what that goal is. Then he said, well, what's got to happen next? Well, you're going to need specific methods for achieving that goal. That's true for any goal. Then he says how long it takes for you to reach that goal depends on one thing alone. How long it takes you to achieve a goal depends only on one thing. Then you go, well, what is the one thing? What is the one thing? The Course in Miracles says your willingness to practice every step. I'm going to tell you the way to get what you want, but how fast you get it is going to be how much you do what I tell you. If you know something, I tell you the basketball is in my back seat, and your goal is to get the basketball. How fast you get the basketball depends on whether or not you walk to my car where I said it was located and pick the basketball up. So in the end, you didn't achieve your goal until you did the specific methods for achieving it. And the same thing is true for spiritual awareness, awakening, joy, the Course in Miracles, or anything else. There's no such thing as just reading the Course in Miracles and you think you're going to achieve the goal that the Course in Miracles is promising the way the Course in Miracles promises it. It's not going to happen. A lot of times I hear people tell me about the challenges and problems they're having. They'll start out by saying, you know, and I haven't been reading, and I haven't been studying, and I haven't been feeling like reading, and I haven't been feeling like studying, and my life is going to crap. And then I have to tell them at the end, well, I'm sorry, it's not going to change if you don't do the truth. You can't sit up and tell me you got this problem, tell me you're not willing to do any of the things that to get rid of it, and then you expect it to go away, and I'm supposed to tell you how that's going to happen. There's no way. And so if you really want something, how fast you get it depends on what? It depends on my willingness to practice every step to have it. And then the Course in Miracles says, together, he says, each step will help a little when every time you try it. So I try to be more loving every day. I don't always pull that off. I pull it off a lot more than I ever have. But it's not nearly as much as I'd like to be able to do it. And I had things that happened that I created for myself that challenged my ability to remember to tell myself the truth no matter how I'm feeling. You know, because I'm not one of these truth teachers and students that's going to pretend that being positive all the time, no matter how you feel, is the way for you to be spiritual. So that you're feeling crappy and you're stuffing it beneath the veneer of, I'm the most cheerful person that ever walked the earth. No. That's not what the Course in Miracles teaches. In the Course in Miracles workbook lesson number 78, in Let Miracles Replace All Grievance, and I'm paraphrasing here, but the Course in Miracles said, whoever's upsetting you, first talk about them like a dog. Like, judge everything you don't like about them, what you think they're doing to you, what you're mad about, what you're upset about, the neglect you think they have given you. It goes through a whole thing about review how you don't like their body, what you don't like about their body. He said it right there in the book, all of it. Run all the stuff down that you're upset about and that you don't like about this person. It's not, the Course in Miracles didn't say go straight to, you're the sinless, guiltless child of God, and I really like you no matter what. He said, no, tell the truth. Select that person and say every critical thing you can think of about how you think that person has hurt you. And he said it just that way. Not how I hurt myself through the person because I'm trying to be spiritual right now. He said, no, say it the way you feel it. You hurt me. You are neglecting me. You're not treating me right. He said, say that to yourself, how you feel about it. And then he says, and when you get through doing all of that and get it all out, I call it part one, then the Course in Miracles says, then say, think about that person. This is what you say. He says, then say, let me behold my Savior. Let me behold my Savior in this one you have appointed. That you appointed as the one for me to ask, to lead me to the holy light in which they stand so I can join with them. Let me behold my Savior in this one you have appointed as the one for me to ask, to lead me to the holy, healing, loving light in which they stand. Now, of course, in Miracle Students, how many of you all ever done that? Okay, be honest. Be honest. I don't care how long you say you studied this material. Tell me the last time you got mad and you said that prayer that he said say in the book right there. And I'm not saying to punish you. I'm saying you're not doing the specific methods for achieving your goal. So don't say you're reading and studying and doing the truth and your life still sucks all the time and you're upset about it, but you're not following the specific instructions that you're given to have what you want. So I was feeling all that stuff today, and I was feeling all that stuff this week, and I got it all out. I yelled to the top of my voice driving down the street, and then I said, let me behold my Savior in this one you have appointed as the one for me to ask to lead me to the holy light in which they stand so I can join with them. The book didn't say I had to go, let me behold my Savior in this one you have, because I'm holy now. I'm a spiritual student, I'm holy. Let me behold my Savior in this one you have appointed. You know you don't feel that way all the time. And the Course in Miracles is so cool that it goes, hey, no, say it just the way you feel it. Say it just the way you feel it, but don't forget to do part two. And I realized that I had not been doing part two. I realized I had been leaving out part two. I was doing the judgment, saying what I'm upset about and what I wish that person would change about, right? But I wasn't following up with, let me see my Savior in this person. Let me see my healer in this person. Let me see the part of this person that's love. Let me see the part of this person that would help me. Let me see the part of this person that would give me peace. I wasn't doing that part. And so I realized the reason why I had not gotten all of the blessings and the happiness and the peace that the Course in Miracles promises all the time is because I was not doing what I was being asked to do. So the Course says every time you try to do it, it's going to help you a little bit. Every time you attempt it. Then it says together, these steps are going to do what? He said, if you do what I tell you to do, I'm going to lead you out of judgment. I'm going to lead you out of dreams of judgment. I'm going to lead you into forgiving dreams. In other words, if you do what I said I'm going to lead you out of pain and fear. If you do what I say, I'm going to get rid of your pain and fear. If you would do what I say, I'm going to lead you out of pain and fear. Do you see pain and fear in your perception of the world? Do you see pain and fear? Do you see pain and fear? If you would do what I'm about to tell you to do, I will lead you. And I think that's really cool. He said these steps will lead you out of pain and fear. And do you know these steps are not new? We've been listening to this. How many books have you read? How many classes have you been to? These steps are not new to you. But here's the problem, Course in Miracle students and Truth students. Here's the problem. The Course says these are just ideas to you. They're just, y'all study this stuff and do this stuff. He says it's just ideas to y'all. Y'all sit around, discuss it in circles. It's just ideas to y'all. He said these things that I'm telling you in the Course in Miracles, he said these things are not rules of thought. He said these ideas are not ruling your thoughts. He says, so what do you need to do if these ideas from the truth are not ruling your thoughts? He says, well, what you need to do is, oh my God. Practice them a little while. Practice them. Practice them. So I was getting upset. Okay, all right. Okay. Let me behold my Savior. Let me see my Savior in this one you have appointed as the one for me to ask to lead me to the holy light. I had to do it. And he said I didn't have to believe it. I didn't have to welcome it. He's already told me I didn't have to accept it. I didn't have to believe it. And I didn't have to welcome it. He's already told us. That's why I read that at the beginning of the class. Say, I'm not asking you to believe what you're saying. I'm asking you to say what you're saying, because what you're saying is the truth, whether you believe it or not. You may not believe this person is your healer and your Savior, but that doesn't mean they're not your healer and your Savior. So just because you don't believe it doesn't mean you can't speak the truth. And if you speak the truth, I love my ego. It just loves to. I tell you, I could cuss. Y'all, look, I curse a lot. When I feel really, really comfortable and free. So I'm just doing the teacher representative to the world that I don't want to blow people's minds who will freak out if they hear a word that they give a meaning to that upsets them. Okay? But around my friends and the people I feel the safest and free with, I don't censor myself. I talk however I want to talk. That's the challenge of being a teacher, is you got these certain protocols and expectations of limitation of your expression of yourself in the name of sharing with open-minded people.
That was a mouthful.
Right? Right? Those of us who are growing spiritually, sometimes we tell ourselves we're the ones that's most open-minded, more so than anybody else. But then we'll find we're the one with the most conditions on how people should behave, how they should talk, how they should act, what spiritual looks like. It's funny. Some people got so much sexual guilt. If you want to see me get a whole lot of people riled up, mention anything about sex. And you'll see how much sexual guilt is out there, even in the New Thought community. It's just certain things. Money is another one. It's very seldom that you walk into the average spiritual gathering and somebody come in and the first thing they say is, I want to win that $57 million lottery so bad so I can get me a yacht. True students not going to say that. They go, I want to get $457 million so I can help all the starving people in the world. Some of them mean it, some of them fooling themselves. Some of them absolutely mean it, and some of them fooling themselves. But since we don't have a punishing God according to the Course, since we don't have any kind of higher power according to the Course that's going to punish us and it's going to only love us, then you can think anything you want to think. You can think anything you want to think, and you're not going to be punished for it. You can think anything you want to think, and you're not going to be punished for your thoughts. So the Course in Miracles says we need to practice these ideas a little while until they become the rules by which we live. That's the Course in Miracles definition of a habit. A habit is a rule that you live by. Habits are rules that you live by. I always get up in the morning and I do my Course in Miracles workbook every day. That is a habit now. It's a rule of thought that I live by. When I get up in the morning, I'm going to focus on the Course. You want to make these thoughts, true thoughts, habits. You get upset because you're in the habit of thinking the way that you think. So the Course says we're going to seek to make the ideas from the Course, from the truth, habits now. So why do you want to make these ideas habits? He says the reason why you want to make these ideas habits is so that you'll have them ready whenever you need them. Say, I want these loving, powerful thoughts to be ready for me and available to me whenever I need them. So if I make it into a habit, then I'll start doing it without thinking about it. When I took karate 1,000,000 years ago, they spent a lot of time in doing what they call forms, where they just give you some moves to do constantly, over and over. But really, you're deflecting the blow, and then you can hit somebody, right? But you just do this for hours, just Why? Because when it becomes a form, when it becomes a rule of thought, when it becomes a habit, when someone comes towards you in an aggressive way, you'll do it without what? Thinking about it. You just automatically do the thing to protect yourself. But this is what the Course in Miracles is trying to do. It's trying to give us new ideas and new beliefs that we make rules of thought until we get to the point that we just think correctly without even trying to. I was nicer than I meant to be the other day. You know exactly what I'm saying. And you had situations where you were angry and you were upset and you were sure you were going to go off and you found yourself saying something very kind and very conscious. You're becoming involuntarily loving. That's what you want. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the point this new thought is such a part of us that we don't have to stop and think about how I should respond to you. I'm just going to respond to you in the same loving way. So the Course in Miracles says that to do what we need to do, he says there are rules for decision. So if you need to make decisions, what's going to happen right now is I'm going to give you what the Course in Miracles says that should be your rules for what? The rules for decision. I'm so grateful that you came out today. Thank you for coming. Really, really. I'm always amazed. So thank you. Thank you. If you look at the Course in Miracles and you do a question and answer format with it, it'll keep you conscious more. For instance, what is it that's continuous? What is it that you're doing all the time? You're making decisions. You're making decisions all the time. You're not making decisions some of the time. You're making decisions all the time. But here's the problem with them. The problem with decisions is that you don't always know when you're making them. So the problem with decisions is that you're making decisions that you don't realize you made. The decisions that you don't realize you made are the things that are happening to you that you don't like and don't feel responsible for. The decisions that you made that you don't know you made are the things that's happening to you right now that you don't know why it's happening to you right now. It's happening because of a decision you made that you didn't know you made. And with a little practice, if you start practicing recognizing some of your decisions and learning how to recognize some of your decisions, then you'll get a set that's going to start taking you through all your decisions. So if you start to practice what we're talking about with decisions that you do recognize, then it will be taken over for those decisions that you don't recognize, which is really good news, right? If I could come up with a way of making decisions that always benefit me through what I recognize and get to the point that I'll also make decisions when I don't even recognize that I'm making decisions, that's a good decision for me. Now you're moving. Now you're moving fast. He says, so the first thing to recognize, and this is what is the first thing you need to recognize. If you're going to do this, what's the first thing you need to recognize? You need to understand that you should not let yourself get preoccupied with every step you take. Don't let yourself get preoccupied with every step you take. Don't get preoccupied with every step you take. Don't judge yourself harshly all day long about every step you take. Don't get preoccupied with every step you take. Do you know that we are already there? We are already not preoccupied with every step we take. So we've already succeeded. Yay! We are totally not preoccupied with these steps. Okay. Then the Course in Miracles says, the proper set adopted when? Consciously. When? Each time you wake up, what will it do? It'll put you well ahead. So if you get up in the morning and you're determined to look at things the right way, then it's going to put you well ahead on that day. So I like to get up in the morning and study the Course in Miracles because I know if I can get into that frame of mind, it'll put me well ahead in my day. It'll be very beneficial. Have you noticed the difference between how those days go when you actually study and focus in on the truth and the difference what happens when you happen to miss a few lessons or a few days? So the Course in Miracles says, well, the first thing I want you to do is know that you're making decisions all the time and you don't always know when you're making the decisions. But don't get preoccupied with every step you take. What I want you to do is get in the right frame of mind every day when you wake up, and that's going to put you way ahead in the whole day. Now, this is the thing I emphasized last week, and I want to emphasize it again. The Course in Miracles says, how can you tell when you're fighting yourself? How can you tell when you're fighting yourself? He said, well, you can tell you're fighting yourself because your resistance will be strong and your dedication will be weak. So if I'm really saying I want something, but I have a lot of resistance to it, he says, which is the same thing as saying my dedication to it is weak. So if I'm resistant to you, my dedication to you isn't very strong. So the Course in Miracles is saying when that's true, when you find that, you say you want to study the Course in Miracles, for instance, or the truth, for instance, and you find you have all this resistance. And then you say, I'm going to do my workbook lessons or I'm going to read every day. And then you find that your dedication to doing that is very weak. He said, don't fight yourself. He said, don't fight yourself. What does that mean? He says, it just means you're not ready. What? It just means you're not ready. If your resistance is strong to something and your dedication is weak, he says in that situation or circumstance, and you know what circumstances in your life right now that I'm talking about. If you're in a situation right now where your resistance is strong and your dedication is weak, then it means whatever that thing is, you are not ready for it. You're not ready for it. You're not ready for the course. You're not ready for the course. That's why your dedication is weak. That's why your resistance is strong. You're not ready for love. You're not ready for real love. That's why your dedication to learning what real love is weak. Your resistance is strong. It doesn't mean you're bad. I'm not judging you. I'm not condemning you. I'm just telling you what you're doing. I'm telling you that if your dedication is weak, if your resistance is strong, you got really strong resistance, no matter what that is, because the truth applies to everything. Well, then it means that in regards to that thing or that person, it means that you are not ready. And so don't fight yourself. And this is what I want you to do after not fighting yourself. He says, I want you to think about the kind of day you want. Now, I bet you most people in this room have thought about what kind of day am I going to have today. So the Course says you've already done it. That's the other thing you're going to find out as you study the Course in Miracles. It's always asking you to do stuff that you're either doing it right then or you've already done it. That's the genius of the book. Like he says, think about the kind of day you want. Well, that's what all of us doing, right? Because when do we get upset? When we think the day didn't go the way that we wanted it. Which means that we all have some scripts that we think the day should be. So he says, okay, think about that. Then he goes, then after you think about the kind of day you want, he says, then what I want you to do is the Course says, I want you to tell yourself there's a way for you to have it just like that. There's a way for you to have the day you want just like that. There's a way for you to have the day you want. Or you could say, there's a way for you to have the day you want just like that. Or you could say, there's a way for you to have the day that you want just like that. Then it says to us, notice I'm going through the book. You know, I've read this book hundreds of times. But notice, 40 years later, I'm still teaching out of the book. Who could guess why I do that? Because I want you to know that the answers are right there in the book, and you have the book, and you could get the answers just like I am right now. See, I don't want you to be dependent on me, right? You don't want the other person to be dependent on you. What you want to do is you want to be a person that motivates them to want to change themselves. See, a good teacher is a good motivator, but you cannot change another person. The most you can do in a relationship, if you want to have peace in a relationship, the most you can do in a relationship, if you really want to have peace in it, what you can do is motivate your partner to want to change themselves about the way they're treating you. You can't directly change me to be the way you want me to be. But what you could do is make it so enticing I want to be that way. That's how you change people. You motivate them to want to change themselves. So that means if your dedication is weak and your resistance is strong, then it means you shouldn't fight yourself. You're not ready. So the first thing you should do is tell yourself what you want, and then tell yourself you can have it just the way you want it. Then he says, then try again to have the kind of day you want. Tell yourself the kind of day you want. Tell yourself there's a way for you to have it. Now, if your dedication to what I just said is weak and your resistance is strong to what the Course in Miracles just said do, what does that mean?
You're not ready.
You're not ready. Like if what I just got through telling you, and it did nothing about that made you want to do it, but you found your dedication was weak, then that means you're not ready. You're not ready for what this is talking about. What do you mean? It means you're not ready to have the kind of day you want. You've been wondering why you don't have the kind of day you want. You're not ready to have the kind of day you want. You're not ready to have the kind of day you want. How do I know you're not ready to have the kind of day you want? Because you're not willing to use the specific methods for achieving it, which means you don't really want it very fast because you know it's going to show up only as fast as you practice every step to have it. So what does that mean, Earl? Well, it means you should tell yourself, today I will make no decisions by myself. Today I will make no decisions by myself. That's how you start. You go, today I will make no decisions by myself. What does that mean? Okay, Course in Miracles students, don't fall for the ego. When you hear that statement, today I will make no decisions by myself, the Course is going to tell you what it means. I know you might be tempted now to tell yourself what you think that statement means, but actually it says on the book, what's the next word that it says? This means. Oh, okay, that means it's about to tell me what it means. It means you're choosing not to be the judge of what to do. It's funny, if you really want to have a happy day, you need to be the last one trying to think of what should be happening to you. What? If you really want to have a happy day, you shouldn't be the one in charge. Haven't you noticed you haven't been very successful at giving yourself consistently happy days? It's so funny. Now, the very first step to having what you want is you don't have no part of it. What I want you to do is choose not to be the judge of what to do. Then the man says, well, what does that mean? It says it means you'll stop judging the situations that you're called upon to make response. Stop judging the situations that you're responding to. Stop judging the situations you're responding to. Stop you judging the situations you're responding to. Stop using your judgments of the situations and circumstances you're responding to. Stop using your judgments in terms of the person that you're responding to. Stop using your judgments. Stop using your judgments. What does that mean? It means if you judge how you should respond to something, then you're going to set the rules for how you should react to it. If I decide that you are supposed to make me happy, then I'm going to come up with the rules you got to follow to make me happy. Every time I judge something, I'm going to come up with the rules with how to do it. And he says that's the mistake that you're making. That's why you're not happy, because you're the one that keeps deciding on how you think your happiness is going to happen, and you're wrong every single time, practically. If you're a person that's unhappy most of the time, it means all of your ideas about happiness is wrong. You have the wrong ideas about happiness. If you're not happy, what you think will make you happy, how you think is supposed to happen, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. You're incorrect. That's why you're unhappy, because if you were doing the right thing and you be feeling really good, the fact that you feel crappy means that you're not seeing anything correctly, and all of your guidance to yourself is wrong, 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 wrong. See, that's New Age kryptonite. That's New Age hand grenade. You don't say anything is wrong. If you're a New Thought person, you never say anything is wrong. You say, it's all the right way. There is no wrong way. Right? But I'm going to tell you, if my keys were on the table in the kitchen and I was headed out to the car in the yard to get them, I would hope somebody would say, Earl, that's the wrong way. Your keys are in the kitchen. I would want them to say, Earl will eventually get to his keys as he circles the earth and then comes all the way around from that direction. And then he would eventually see his key. Yeah, but it would have been more quicker if someone had said, that's wrong. It's not outside on the car. It's on the table. What's wrong with the word wrong? What's wrong with the word wrong? It's almost like the word wrong is equated with something that's bad. It's crazy. It's almost the same as putting a political edge on a medical problem. It's the same insanity. It's the same. Just because I did something wrong, I made a mistake, doesn't mean I'm bad, doesn't mean it's a bad word. It means the course says it will save you time, because you don't have time enough to try every direction. You'll die first. It's the level of the body. So the Course in Miracles says, now, here's the problem. If you come up with the way that you think a situation is to be solved, or how you think your happiness is going to happen, then if someone gives you another answer, they tell you another way, then it's going to make you feel confused, uncertain, and afraid. In other words, if I've decided that my happiness is going to come through blue, but actually the universe says to me, no, actually your happiness is going to come through green, but I've decided it's blue, he says, then I'm going to get upset about that, because the answer is telling me something other than what I've decided it should be. I've decided that this is the person that's going to make me happy. But the truth is this, if it's such thing as making somebody happy. But the truth is she would, right? But if I'm determined to think it's you, then I'm going to get upset when they tell me it's her. So the Course says the danger of when you decide how you're going to be happy is that when the real way that God tries to give you in order to be happy shows up, then you get upset about it because it's coming in a way that you had not come up with yourself. It's not your way. So he says, that's your major problem. He says, that's you all's major problem. That's your major problem. What is your major problem? What is your major problem? You still make up your mind and then ask God what to do? He said, you still make up your mind and then you ask Spirit what to do. You make up your mind and then you ask God what to do. I decide what's going to make me happy. Then I ask the universe to tell me what to do. In other words, I make it up and then I go to God. I decide what's going to give me my joy and then I ask what I should do. I've decided that going to Paris is going to make me happy. Now tell me, God, what I should do to get there. See, I've already made the decision on my own about what should be happening. The way you know it's your plan and not God's plan is because when it's God's plan, you're totally satisfied. When it's your plan, you're not. When it's the right plan, you're totally satisfied. When it's the wrong plan, you're not. That's how you can tell the difference. So if you're having a life right now, and for whatever area, whatever areas you're not feeling joy in, that's the area that you're not using the specific methods to achieve that goal, and you're not taking the steps necessary to have it really, really quickly, and you're deciding how to do it on your own without tapping into higher power. That's the area that you're failing in your perception right now. That's the area of your life that you're the one in charge of, and you're the one that's doing it your way. The Course in Miracles said it is impossible to have the guidance of the infinite intelligence of the universe and fail. So therefore, if you perceive failure any time in your life, the only thing that's happened is your plan failed. Your plan failed. Thank God your plan failed, because your plan, the Course says, is not good enough for you. Your plan isn't good enough for you. You deserve more than your plan. You deserve more than you think you deserve. You deserve more than you think you deserve. You deserve more than you think you deserve. The Course in Miracles teaches you deserve so much more than what you think you deserve, that your greatest, biggest, highest thought you could have is what the Course in Miracles defines as little. God's definition of little, according to the Course in Miracles, is anything you think of. Anything you think of. He said, anything y'all think of is little. You doing yourself an injustice by only giving yourself as much as you can think of. That's an injustice to yourself. Coming up, your plan, right? So the Course in Miracles says that's your major problem now. You still make up your mind, then you decide what to do. Then what you hear might not be the way you decided to resolve the problem. And since you're hearing something opposite to what you believe, he says, then you're going to feel afraid because the truth is telling you something other than what you believe, and because it's contradicting what you see. And then he says, and so you do what? You feel attacked. You're telling me something other than what I'm ready to hear right now, other than what I've decided should be right now, and I feel angry. I feel attacked. You're not agreeing with my assessment of how I should have what I want. I feel attacked. He says there are rules that will keep that from happening. There are rules that will keep you from blocking your own blessings. There are rules that will help you stop blocking your own blessings. Stop blocking your own blessings with your own plan. Stop blocking your own blessings with your own plans. So he says, but you're going to get mad at first. He says, but it does occur at first. It does occur at first. What occurs at first? You get mad, you get angry. You get mad, you get angry. When the truth starts to work, you're going to get mad, you're going to get angry. Because a lot of what it's saying is opposite from the way you decided it should be. And so therefore, you're going to ask for stuff. And then you're going to think God's job is to give you what you asked for. You think God's job is to give you what you think. God is a genie, and the purpose of God is to rub God's belly and tell God that house you want, that car you want, that trip you want. And God's job is to manifest whatever it is you think you want. You decide what you want, then you ask what you should do. That's your major problem. You're always deciding who you want and then what you should do. And so the Course in Miracles is saying to you that every time you have a moment for quiet reflection, every time you got a moment that you can just chill out, tell yourself the kind of day you want. Whenever you have a moment and you're sitting still and nothing's going on, what you should do is tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself the kind of day you want. All day long, keep telling yourself what kind of day you want. Keep telling yourself what kind of, every time you have a spare moment, every time you have a spare second, keep telling yourself the kind of day that you want. Tell yourself the kind of feelings that you want to have. Tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself what kind of feelings you want to have. Tell yourself what you want and tell yourself what kind of feelings you want to have. Anytime you get a free moment, what should you do? Anytime you get a free moment, a free second, what should you do? What should you do? What should you do? Tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself the kind of feelings you want to have. I want to have loving feelings. I want to have peaceful feelings. I want to have abundant feelings. I want to have sensual feelings. I want to have passionate feelings. I want to have forgiving feelings. Tell yourself what kind of feelings you want to have. Tell yourself what you want to happen to you. And tell yourself what you would like to feel. Tell yourself the things you want to happen to you. Tell yourself the things you want to happen to you. Tell yourself the things you want to happen to you. I want love to happen to me. I want peace to happen to me. I want health to happen to me. I want unity to happen to me. I want freedom to happen to me. Tell yourself the things you would experience. Now, if you find your dedication weak, if you find your resistance strong to doing what this is suggesting or even being able to hear it, it just means your dedication is weak, your resistance is strong, you're not ready. Don't fight yourself. Don't fight yourself. You're cool. Everything's cool. So tell yourself the things you want to experience. Tell yourself the things you want to experience. Tell yourself the things you want to experience. And then say, if I make no decisions by myself, what should you say? Say, if I don't make any decisions by myself, if I don't make any decisions without God, if I don't make any decisions without the truth, if I don't make any decisions without my spiritual path, if I don't make any decisions by myself, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. This day, this happy day, I want this experience I want to have, this feeling I want to have. It says what? It didn't say you had to pay for it. It didn't say you had to earn it. It didn't say it was going to come as the result of your personal study and your intellectual awareness. It said that this is the day that will be given you if you don't make decisions without your higher power. If you don't make any decisions without consulting the truth. If you make no decisions by yourself, you can have what you want. If you make no decisions by yourself, the kind of loving, peaceful day you want can be given to you. This is practical application. Those of you in the room that's with me, that's cool. Those who are fighting themselves and may not be ready, that's cool. But at the same time, I'm so glad that I'm with people who want to remember this with me, who want to hear the friggin' steps and do the steps rather than do the playing, sitting around playing with ideas and then thinking that means somehow I'm spiritually enlightened. Like the situation that I was just telling you about that I was experiencing where I had to feel my feelings, do part one, tell myself I want to see my Savior. That's the practical application of A Course in Miracles. But my conditioning was to try to stop me from doing that. But my dedication was strong and my resistance was weak. And I'm so glad that that's beginning to happen to me, where I want to do what the Course in Miracles is telling me to do. I want to rush to the book and remember what it told me about having a new beginning. I'm not sitting back trying to give my meanings to what it's saying. I want to hear what he said. He just said, Earl, if you want to have the kind of day you want to have, if you want to have the kind of day you want to have, anytime you got a moment for reflection, I want you to think about the kind of day you want. I want you to think about the kind of feelings you want to have. I want you to think about what you want to happen to you. And I want you to think about what you want to experience. And then tell yourself, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. And there's not a person in this room, and there's not a person watching me right now that's not capable of doing that today, right now, especially if you don't have to believe it. What could be an easier instruction than that? I defy anybody to tell me what could be an easier. I just want you to say this and you'll be given everything. And I know that my dedication to me having everything is weak, and I know my resistance to me being happy is strong. How do I know that? Because I'm not willing to do the simple things that I'm being told to do, which is what? Tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself what you want to feel. Tell yourself what you want to experience and say, if I make no decisions by myself, this will be given me. And then I had to ask myself, have you ever done that? Course in Miracles students, anybody in this room, have you ever done that consistently or even one time? Other than when you're reading the book like we're doing right now. And I'm not saying that there's not some of you that are doing it. What I'm saying is, why don't we get honest with ourselves about whether we're really doing what we're being told to do or not, so that we can get rid of that part of ourselves that feel like somehow or another we're being denied the happiness that we say we want. You follow what I'm saying? Oh, life isn't treating me right. No, you're not doing and taking the steps that are necessary to have what you want. That's why you don't have it. Why? You're not willing to do the things to have what you want. That's why you don't have it. Why? Because I'm not willing to do the steps that I'm being told. Like what? Like saying to yourself what you want to experience, what you want to feel, what you like to experience, and telling yourself, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. And to say that consistently, then every time I have a quiet moment and nothing's really going on, to tell myself the same thing. I haven't done these things consistently. I haven't done them consistently. So I'm not a bad person. The goal just wasn't important enough to me to motivate me to do it. That's why I tell people all the time when they tell me what they want. I go, okay, does that inspire you? Did that idea of what you're talking about you want to do, this new business, this new idea, whatever you're telling me about, is it inspiring you? What do you mean? Well, is it the idea energizing you? And is it energizing you enough to take the steps to actually attain it and start doing it? If not, you're fooling yourself again. You're about to hurt yourself. Don't you dare quit your job without enthusiasm. Don't you dare quit your job for any other reason than out of inspiration and enthusiasm. If you're getting ready to jump out there and think the universe is going to take care of you doing your own thing, but you're not listening to spirit, what do you mean? Well, spirit only inspires and energizes and moves you toward things. It moves you. You don't have to move yourself if something you're doing is coming from spirit. Spirit is going to move you. You're going to get up in the morning and do it, or you're going to do whatever the step is because spirit is moving you. Because it turns you on to think about doing that. And anything less than that, that's your ego, and you're getting ready to probably go over the cliff if you're getting ready to quit that job. But guess what? Here's the good news. If you do make a mistake like that and you jump out there, and we know that new thought said it's all good, everywhere is good, but we know it's going to be rescued. Okay, well, so that's why you don't have to worry about anything, because even if you make a mistake, Spirit's going to meet you where you are and lift you up and heal you and help you from where you are. But you didn't have to be at the bottom of the cliff when the rescue team come. Just glad they came, but you didn't need to be down there to begin with. Right? And so this is what this is saying to us. But if your resistance is strong, your dedication is weak, don't fight yourself. You're not ready for this. That's all it means. You're just not ready for this. So I am so glad to be here with you. Now I'm going to make I do this full time. If you'd like to make a donation or a financial expression of appreciation, I would thank you so much for doing that. I'm going to pass this around. And I love you, I love God, I love you, and thank you so much for sharing with me. And if you're online and you'd like to share, this is always the weirdest part of the hour for me is when I do this. Because it's really interesting asking for what you want. It's interesting. Asking. If you'd like to share, you can use Venmo, you can use PayPal, you can use Zelle, or you can use the Cash App. And my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Purdy. And I'm working with a lot of people right now and having some incredible breakthroughs, working with people in the mentoring, advising, coaching, counseling role. And so those of you who want to go deeper and you're ready to take advantage of somebody that's been obsessed with the Course in Miracles for over 40 years, and have talked to hundreds of people and could bring that experience and whatever the Holy Spirit wants to channel through me to your situation and circumstance, or to help you wake up faster and get past blocks. I have what I do that I call clarity sessions. And you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and it explains it, and you can book a session with me right online. And I'm also, and have been a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist for also 4 decades. And it is just another way that spirit communicates to us. There is a reason you were born. There's a reason you're here. There was a reason you were born. There's a reason you were here. There was a purpose. There was a purpose. There was a plan. One of the ways that people get into the form of what they came here to do is through astrology and numerology. And there are other ways that the spirit can communicate the same thing, which helps to answer that question, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I really here? You know, that's what astrology and numerology and things like the Course says, I'm here to have peace. What form does that take? What would be the form? What would be the specific methods for attaining that? You know. So anyway, anybody's really for me. I don't have to convince them anyway, though. That's what's really cool, right? Anybody that I'm really supposed to work with, I would never have to convince. And I have to remember that all the time. Somebody that really loves me, I never have to convince them. So, God, I feel so blessed. And then Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we do hardcore Course in Miracles. That's a Course in Miracles class that I personally, in my mind, I'm now speaking to Course in Miracles students who actually read and study. And I'm going to talk to them exactly like I'm talking to a Course in Miracles students who actually in the book, and they're actually reading it, and they're actually trying to do the workbook lessons. And they want to take advantage of somebody who's been obsessed with this for almost 40 years. And they're going, Earl, could you save me some time? Could you save me some time? But I really want to get this. What is this parent? How can I look at this another way? In other words, the Course in Miracles says any relationship should save you time. If you're in a real relationship, you feel like you're speeding toward more love and more peace. If you're in the wrong relationship, if you're in a relationship that is a delay, it's the one that you maintain attack, projection, blame, and anger. And you're constantly saying to each other, if you were different, I'd be happy. The Course calls that an unholy relationship. It's a relationship based on guilt and fear. That's not a real relationship. And if you're in a relationship like that, guess what? You can't depend on it. You can't depend on it. It'll turn on a dime. As soon as you don't act out that script, that person will flip on you so fast it makes your head swim. We've all had it. We've all experienced it. The person that starts out telling us we're the greatest thing that they've ever seen in their whole life, and then somewhere along the lines, the flip happens, and it's just the opposite happening. And anybody that's been on the planet more than 15 years that say they haven't experienced that, you're horribly in denial. But what we want and what the Course in Miracles is trying to get is for us to have a consistent happiness that only grows, with no gaps in it, no ups and downs in it. You can have it all the time. That's what we're aiming at. That's what we're trying to do. That's what's so cool. Michael, I forgot I had a meeting with this for an interview right after the class. So, but would you come back and do it?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I saw him and then I realized, whoa, I forgot I got something right to do. I got an interview to do. Okay. All right, so let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath. Earl Purdy page on Facebook, please share this video and listen to it at least 4 times. At least 4 times. Here we go. Would you mind closing your eyes for a minute, gang? I want you to hear Earl Purdy tell you something. I'm so grateful to you, the people who are here in person. I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You got in your car and you came over here and you joined. You could have stayed at home. You could have watched it over the air, which would have been fine. But I want you to hear what it sounds like if someone is saying to you, thank 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 you. Those of you who are watching, those of you who are watching, those of you who are watching, those of you who are listening, I'm here for you. I'm here for you and those of you in the room, and I'm here for you online. I am a dedicated teacher. I love A Course in Miracles. I want to be a channel for people to really, really get A Course in Miracles. I beg of you, use me. Use me. I want to be used. I want to be used. I want to be used. Used for the truth. Used for the truth. Used for the Course. So listen, 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 listen. Today you will make no decisions by yourself. 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 Tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself what you want to happen to you. Tell yourself the feelings you want to have. Tell yourself the kind of experiences you want to have. That's okay. The Course in Miracles isn't saying that you can't tell yourself what you want. It's telling you to tell yourself what you want. It's telling you to think about what you want to happen to you. It's telling you to tell yourself the kind of feelings you want to have. It's telling you to tell yourself what kind of experiences that you want to have. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. If you want to test how much you want to, if you would be able to test how much you want something, would you like to know how to tell? Well, is your dedication weak? And is your resistance strong? If your dedication is weak and your resistance is strong, don't fight yourself. Don't fight yourself. No matter what it is. If your dedication is weak and your resistance is strong, don't fight yourself. Stop fighting yourself. Stop fighting yourself. Do you know that what your major problem is that's been solved? Your major problem that has been solved is making up your mind and then asking what you should do. Stop making up your mind and then asking what you should do. Start out by asking your higher power, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Instead of making up my mind and then asking what I should do, just go straight to asking God, what should I do? Ask love, what should I do? Ask abundance, what should I do? Ask happiness, what should I do? And if you are really open to that answer, you're going to get mad sometimes. You're going to get angry sometimes, because sometimes God's answer is going to be different from the way that you think it should be. So sometimes you're going to ask for things and you're going to want things that really are not good for you, that really wouldn't give you any real joy and happiness. But you're convinced that they would, or it would, and you've decided who it should be, and you've decided what it should be that's going to give you what you want. And so you make the mistake of deciding what you want and then asking God what to do. But the Course in Miracles is saying what you should do is just the opposite. What you should do is tell yourself the kind of day you want. Tell yourself the feelings you want to have. Tell yourself the kind of things you want to happen to you. And then tell yourself, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. Say that to yourself. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. Whatever you want, think about what you want. Think about the experiences you would like to have and tell yourself, if I make no decisions by myself, if I make no decisions by myself, if I make no decisions without God, if I make no decisions without God, this is the day that will be given me. If I don't make any decisions without consulting with the truth, with the Course, with my spiritual path, if I don't make any decisions without God, truth, then if I will do that, I will be given. What I want will be given to me. What you want can be given to you. What you want can be given to you. What you want can be given to you. What you want. So if you find that your dedication is weak, if you find your resistance is strong to doing what you've been asked to do today, if what I've asked you to do through the Course in Miracles, if that's something you find yourself not being willing to do, or you're tuned out, or you're zoned out, or you're not really committed to it, you're innocent. You're innocent. It just means don't fight yourself. You're just not ready right now. But you will be ready. You will be ready. I promise you that. So, mighty companions, may the Course be May the Course be with you. May the Course be with you. May the Course be. Hey, we can actually look around the room and say that to each other. I mean, you don't have to. I want you to feel like you have to participate, because that makes people, sometimes they want to come, but they think they have to participate. So I always tell people, just do what you want to do, but this is what I feel like doing. May the Course be with you. 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 May the Course, of course. The Course is of course. Ah! And no one knows what to do with the Course, of course. It is the Course. course is in my hand. Mighty companions, thanks for coming. I love you. I appreciate y'all. For those who care, hugs actually available. Let's give it to us. Can we give it to us? That's chapter 30, the new beginning, on page 625. That's what we're working on right now. Go to that dedication, make the dedication strong, make the resistance weak.
What lesson number is it that says get it off your chest?
Yes,
And then ask.
that's lesson 78, the one I was saying that it said, get the stuff off your chest and then tell them you want to see the Savior. That's lesson 78. It's called Let Miracles Replace All Grievances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Earl.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you.